Scott is the co-owner of Chunky Fit Protein Cookie. Absolutely delicious for all the fat boys like myself who need our protein in. And he is absolutely incredible. Chunky Fit Cookie has been around for forever. They hit 500K in revenue in 2025, 5 SKUs, founder led, Shopify D2C ambassador program, tourist wholesale portal. He's an absolute beast. He's pushing retail expansion. It's 16 grams of protein, a little bit under around 200 calories for a soft baked cookie. Let's get Scott into the show. You ready for it, Chris?
Bring him in.
Whoa!
Yeah.
I got to move this camera. Hold on a second.
Scott, you're not the only one who's having technical difficulties today.
We're all good.
I don't know what's been happening on my side, but I am here, and now you are. Welcome to the show, sir.
I appreciate it, fellas. Can you hear me okay? I've been trying to mess with this all morning, to be honest with you.
Gold.
Cool.
You sound like gold, man.
Sweet.
Scott, give us the backstory on you getting here, brother, with Chunky Fit. These things, I know there's big players inside of this game, but it looks like that you've got a winner on your hands, my friend, and we're going up and to the right and to the moon.
Yeah, we're trying, that's for sure. Well, I gotta say, I just appreciate you guys bringing me on. I feel like I gotta make a point to say this. I was at the Commerce Roundtable. And I feel bad I didn't say what's up to you guys, but you guys were slammed doing stuff with people.
Let's go.
I got invited from guys at OmniSend. They gave me, a ticket for free, and I knew a couple people there, and I wanted to network with you guys. So it was cool to see you guys do your thing. So just to say that at least. Yeah. So hopefully I'll be able to see you guys in person in the future. But no, the brand has been around for a little bit. So I'm not technically the founder. I joined the founder. He started in 2019 during COVID. He's a Air Force vet, and he was buying Lenny and Larry and stuff like that at the exchange on base. And he's a big foodie. He's from Mexico. His name is Angel, and he's always cooking. We call him the chef. You know what I mean? And he's trying to make new things all the time. And his wife was like, "You love sweets, and you probably should lose some weight like all of us. So we need to make some protein cookies." So he and I feel that way all the time. We eat too much. But anyway, long story short, he made something. He made a couple iterations. I come from I was in aircraft sales for a company called Cessna, and right out of college, left that to be a photographer. Got picked up by Raw Nutrition, who now owns Raw, Revive MD, Bum Energy. They're involved with Cadence, a lot of the big players in the supplement space. And so I was there as like employee number 2 or 3, super early. I remember working in the warehouse and on a laptop, just doing our thing and trying to figure that out. Missed being in Texas. Me and my wife, we've lived in Austin for a long time. And so we were living in Florida with Raw, and we came back, and I met Angel at the gym. He was slinging cookies, trying a few things here and there. And I took one bite and thought, dude, I need to be part of this. So that was in 2023. And, since then, that year we did 90, then 250 the next, then 550 or whatever it was last year. And so now we're trying to hit our first 7-figure year. Things are slow right now for us. This is the slow period in the summertime, but it's been a lot of fun, dude. And you mentioned big players. It's definitely hard when you're bootstrapped and you're playing against people who raise, with seed funding, and all this kind of stuff, especially as we started to get in the retail side. We just got on Amazon. We did our first 10K on Amazon right away. In fact, Amazon is funding some of our marketing now. We got it's called NIF, I think, where they fund some marketing for you to help you kind of push, which is really cool. So we got a lot of really good feedback and a lot of really good people behind us trying to help us. And it's just the two of us, Angel and I. We don't have any employees. The only agency we hired was the Amazon team, just because I didn't want to have to do it all myself. So we do everything, though, from marketing, the Shopify, all the Facebook ads, the branding, anything you see is all of us.
Scott, I feel like when it comes to CPG, your taste buds always know. And the fact that you tried the cookie and said, actually, this tastes good. Whereas I don't want to throw anybody else under the bus, but there's a lot of people that make a protein cookie and you bite into that thing and you wish you hadn't. And the fact that you can bite into it and say, this is actually good, that means that to me that you've got an advantage, even though you guys are still growing and scaling.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. It's changed a lot because when you go from making in your home kitchen like Angel did to we were using a commissary kitchen where we were making them ourselves. So Angel and I handmade the year we did 500 that we handmade all of those. So I think we made like
Wow.
two or 300,000
Golly.
cookies ourselves. With our wives
Crazy,
helping
man.
us just free labor when we could. So we did
Best
that.
kind.
But this is the year we moved into a co-packing facility, and
Let's
that
go.
has been a whole evolution, right? Of like learning how the recipe changes and how things, why you need to change things for the machinery that it needs to go into to scale up and get into the retail space. So we can't get into retail without that volume anyway. So we had to go that way.
Yeah. It totally
I mean,
makes
you're
sense.
talking about a super important moment for the business, for D2C businesses, that push into 7 figures and beyond. How do you see that, and how are you going to smash through that ceiling this year? Because I totally think you can. And like Chris said, we've tried some cookies where they're not good, and you're like,
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a protein cookie, and it kind of
Yeah.
tastes like boo boo. I don't like it.
Yep.
so I
Yeah.
think you guys are going to win there pretty easily.
Yeah, I mean, we like to say taste. I mean, everybody says taste is king, right? And
Yeah.
our whole goal was to do like originally the goal was to do gourmet, and like we were doing like crumble rotations of flavors all the time, and we just can't. You can't do that at scale, especially when you want to get into retail and you want to worry about shelf life. But the goal to get to the 7-figure mark this year was really getting on Amazon. That was a huge proponent of our objective because we knew a lot of our customers, we were losing some of that conversion to shipping costs. I mean, we're a bootstrap, so we have to be able to cover shipping and whatever. And our product is expensive online. It's $3.99 a cookie, but you buy it in a box of 4 or 10. So it's not a cheap, upfront cost for a first time customer. So really getting on Amazon really helped a lot of that, that tailwind a little bit. So I think it'll really push us a lot further. And then just getting better at meta and then introducing us into different retail categories. So we're actually focusing on C-store first instead of grocery.
Oh, yeah. Love it.
We kind of feel like you can capitalize a little more on the higher ticket versus trying to be in grocery. We got to be like 250, 299, 350, whatever.
Yeah.
C-store kind of has a wider range. And we just got into the Austin airport and they're selling them for $6.99 and they're on their 3rd order in 30 days.
Seriously.
Let's go.
Yeah. So if we can prove good concept with them in the 90-day period, we do like a little trial. We're going to try to expand to DFW, Houston, and go from there.
Love it. Love it. I think it's such a natural fit for C-store airports too, because in those contexts, there's a lot of people who would love some kind of healthy-ish snack. They'd love something,
Exactly.
we've got a C-store right down here. And every time I'm in there, what are my options? It's like pork rinds and it's the hot dog that's on the roller,
Yeah.
And it's like, it looks tasty. Probably going to make my stomach feel like a brick if I go that route. I'd love something that is a sweet treat, but also I can feel good about as I head down the road. I think that's smart. Has anybody else gone this route? And as far as players in your space, is there anybody there that you're competing with, or are you guys getting to kind of own some of those places as being the only option?
I mean, without naming names, the biggest in the industry, the 2 major category players, are there always everywhere. But like in our size, not so much, I would say. There's a lot of protein cookies out there. You mentioned the creatine cookie earlier. I bought that thing to see what it would be like, and we'll see how it turns out. But
okay, I think that was a little. I mean, that was a little bit of a, it was a little bit of a nod there.
Stiff arm.
We'll see how it turns out. The creatine phase is really interesting to me because all the testing right around creatine gummies and understanding that, and then if you understand the science behind how the heat transfer when you put it into dough, and like creatine is heat stable, but only at a certain only in its powder form, not as much in its liquid form. And when you put it into dough, it has its liquid form come into play a little bit, but it's kind of half and half. So I'll be interested. Anyway, this is a personal thing. We just wanted to try it. But
just to clarify here, Scott, maybe no creatine coming to your cookies anytime soon. Is that?
I don't know.
fair?
Angel wants to do some crazy things with our product, so maybe.
Okay, all right.
Who knows?
All right.
I don't know. We it's like, why put it in there? But anyway, I digress. So the players in our space, there are a few smaller, I would say smaller ones trying to get into that, but a lot of it is D2C, and the hardest part for them is shelf life. And shelf life is a huge player, and people think that that's a bad thing when you make your shelf life longer, but you're not getting in a C-store retail or anything like that if you don't have it.
Yeah, it's like a necessary part of it. I remember when we were doing our coffee business and we wanted to focus on the freshness, the fresh side, and it's a double-edged sword because
Yeah.
if I serve people the freshest always, really all that means is that they can only brew that coffee within 2 weeks of us having roasted it. That's a huge problem to making. That's a huge problem to any kind of sales.
Yeah, I'll be fully transparent here. We lost a lot. We had a 14 franchise GNC. She's a really awesome woman, and we lost her twice due to mold from our old recipe. Because our old recipe, when we were making them, had a higher water activity. And I'm sure you guys know this. Water activity is the key for all shelf life. It's not necessarily a preservative. You don't have to use preservatives if your water activity is strong. So we're trying to regain her trust. There's another nutrition shop up north in Pennsylvania area. We're trying to regain their trust as well on this new recipe that now has the strong shelf life and has the co-packing knowledge behind it. But yeah, we did lose that. And that's normal. As you bootstrap things, you learn and you go through that process.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one to make.
We'll make it.
Scott, how are you thinking about these kind of consumer profiles as you're moving forward with everything? We had some guys on the show Friday who are making an incredible protein ice cream. And one of their main consumer profiles that they want to hit this year is basically the overworked, super busy mom that just wants to get protein in. She wants to get protein in for her kids. How are you thinking about this? Because I obviously see, a ton of the gym dudes just being like, yeah, I'll eat 7 cookies and that'll be my lunch. And then I'll be rocking and rolling with that. But there's obviously other demographics out there that you can hit. How are you thinking about that for, how you're targeting?
Yeah, if you go into our Amazon and our Facebook data, we get a lot of men still, quite a bit.
Of course.
And a lot of men between the ages of probably 25, 34, and like us, because we're making the content, right? So they're probably a lot like us. And I would like to see a lot more women involved, and we're using different UGC creators to try to test that angle a lot and get them. We do have some families who buy. We have one woman who buys a ton, like $200 at a time, and brings them to soccer games and gives them to her. She hands them out, which is really cool. And then we're in a chain of vending machines that are all in high schools. So those kinds of things and trying to hit those demographics is really interesting. But I kind of think that I keep hitting on the C-store, but I think the C-store is interesting too because, truckers and that kind of stuff. Everybody wants a piece of, a sweet of some kind. And we're long-term not trying to just subject ourselves to just cookies, but the goal is to have a snack. And that's what Angel called it Chunky Fit. It's like, you want to feel like you're eating the real thing without having to worry about the real thing.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And I say that formerly having been 300 pounds for much of my
good for
life.
you. Nice.
Now, I was a fit 300 pounds.
Chris was an athlete. Chris was a pure athlete.
At the time, I was playing football at the University of Texas. But having exactly. Having come off of that though, you still want that sweet treat. You do. You want it.
Yeah.
And one of my teammates, you mentioned truckers. 2 things that you mentioned I think are so dead on. Number one, the soccer mom, the travel baseball mom, I care about what my kid is taking in mom.
Sure.
She's got more money to spend. She wants her kid to be taking in the treat that is better for him or her. And they may be somewhere where you can't get those treats. And so a delicious cookie is a great way to go. And one of my teammates, he became a trucker after football, started a great company. He was making really good money. But the problem was that he was in the truck all the time. And what happened? He's sitting on his backside and he's driving all day, and then he's eating at the C-store. And you turn around and he's gained 50 pounds. And so he had to get out of the truck. But I think there's a real move there. I think there's a real opportunity there.
I think our focus into trying to get the C-store, we brought on a broker team that help with. I don't know if it matters if I say this or not. They help with FitCrunch. Scale them into the C-stores and stuff like that. They have really strong relationships with, the big players, 7-Eleven, Quick Trip, and so forth. But they also have a lot of regionals. So we're gonna make it smart. Since we're based in Texas, we're gonna start Austin, San Antonio, DFW, and so forth, and kind of expand out. So our freight is smaller and kind of work our way out in the circle. Go from there to Oklahoma, Louisiana, and so forth.
Wow.
As we're talking here, I don't know. I mean, Colin, you may not know these guys, but you guys kind of remind me of, and I know we're going away from like the crazy all the time new flavors right now, but you guys kind of remind me of My Cookie Dealer. Did you ever see
Yeah.
My Cookie Dealer? You guys kind of remind me, except a healthy version
Sure, yeah.
of My Cookie Dealer.
Raw was involved in a part of that, and I did a lot of their marketing prior.
Did you really?
Yeah. So like back at Raw Nutrition, Cookie Dealer, when they went into getting the protein space before, because they do both. They do indulgent and they do protein, right?
Do
Yeah.
they?
So in their protein, they did a contract with Raw where they purchased our protein powder to put into the cookie. And so as part of that deal was like, well, hey Scott, you can do the marketing for that. You do the marketing for all that other stuff too. So I was taking photos and doing that kind of stuff for them. And so that's why when I tried this thing initially, I thought this is better.
There we go. There we go, Scott.
Yeah, they're good people. They're awesome people. They've worked very hard and they do the thing. It's a different I think it's a different product completely, right? It's super indulgent. It has its fill. It has its need. We focus on like lower calorie, focus on the protein to calorie ratio, that kind of stuff, which is hard. And people give us a lot of flack for like, oh, it's not enough protein. But trying to put things into a baked good is not the same as a bar by any means.
That totally makes sense.
Scott, you mentioned it's quite literally a two-man show. It's you and Angel.
Yes,
You
sir.
guys have to be using AI as infrastructure to push this thing forward. If you're not, that's insane. I would love to know how you guys are pushing AI into the business and how you're thinking about AI. Is it just a bunch of, do you guys have like 80 agents in the background just making all of the things, making all the photos? How are you thinking about this moving forward with all the AI constant shipments from Claude that are getting updated every day?
Yeah, you're not gonna like my answer, but we don't use it very much.
I think there's something to this. There's something to this, though, especially right now. I'll mention it after you answer. Go ahead.
Yeah, we use it for a lot of things from a financial perspective, and our unit economics, and our like identifying CAC, and like where we can go with all that kind of stuff. I do use it for email to help me with like speed through a lot of stuff, and that's fine. But I try not to put the reason I try not to put too much emphasis on the AI aspect into whether it's content creation or like creating for ads or that kind of stuff. We use it for, our Amazon team uses it, and I try to be careful with that, because if this thing looks too amazing and you get something that doesn't look like that, you're going to have a different expectation issue. And that expectation issue is going to have a negative you're going to have a negative experience initially. You might not think of it that way if it wasn't like to the T perfect. So too much, I believe in food, at least too much AI, beverage is a whole different thing, but too much AI can cause a high expectation and create a negative experience should that expectation be way too high for that individual. Because there are some people who expect everything out of nothing. Especially when you're a new customer, right? You want the best of the best. And if you think this is what you're going to get, and you happen to get a batch that maybe had like 5 less chocolate chips on it than the other one, then that's all we can't do anything about that. That's just how the way that everything's fell. So we use it for a lot of data analytics and understanding that, and understanding our financials. I'm in it a lot from that perspective, but outside of that, it's really creatively, we don't use it very much. I mean, we're filming videos on our phone. I used to do photography and video. I mean, I did that for Raw. And so we're taking all those photos and videos ourselves. And then I'm trying to use UGC, but I haven't cracked that code by any means.
That's such a good point you bring up on that. I mean, my fiance bought another protein item. I'm not going to say who, but the packaging looks incredible. The packaging makes you think this is the most delicious thing in the entire world. It's just absolutely decadent. And then you open up the packaging and the actual product, the difference between the photo that was on the packaging and the actual product was comically different, to the point where we took a photo and we're like, is this the same product? Like, this is insane.
There's a viral video going around about that with one of the brands. And to be fair, this happened. It might be. It's happened to us too. I mean, I can't control. We have a dosing of how many chocolate chips go in a chocolate chip cookie, right? Sometimes through the machine, you're not going to get as many as you hope. It's just part of it, because then our macros are all screwed up and the nutritional value isn't there. But
I find the I find the AI conversation to be so interesting because of the recent data that Ecomm Fuel released, where Udarian is actually saying that the people who have just operated business as usual, they're actually making more money than everybody who's been gung ho on AI. Now, his thinking is that investment early on is going to pay off 12, 18 months down the line, and that things may look different. But I find this to be an interesting point about, CPG food and the difference when one opens that thing up and actually takes a bite. It's a real point. It's a real point. We do eat with our eyes. And if I get an expectation on the screen that I don't see in real life, then maybe I'm soured on the experience before I've even taken it into my mouth.
Yeah. And there's a balance. You got to make the thing look good on the package, right? I mean, it's part of it. But yeah, we use it a lot for, like I said, the unit economics. I mean, we're trying to do a deal with the distribution team right now who can help us get into a lot more gyms and things like that. And so I put in freight and try to understand zones and where I can do that and how much can I change. Do I got to do half pallet, quarter pallet, full pallet, whatever, to make sense of that deal, to make sure the distribution can make their piece for the guys in the retail want to make their piece and so forth. We use it a lot for that because that cuts down the decision-making process really quickly.
Scott, you touched on a sec there, just kind of as a little throwaway line, that there was going to be more to come other than cookies. What are you thinking about for that? Can you kind of tease a little bit out on, is this just going to be a rebrand to Chunky Fit, and then you guys are going to start to just be in every single snack item possible? How are you thinking about this?
I like to think about it like Quest. Right, Quest started with one thing and evolved. We do want to be in the sweets category, maybe not as much the savory category. I don't know. Angel's very interested in that, but that seems to be heavily dominated. If you look at some of the Amazon data, the protein snack on the savory is getting more investment and more revenue than in the sweet side on some brands. But I don't want to say too much because every time we speak about it, even together internally, something else appears. But we do want to expand out of cookies, right? Yeah. And everybody asks us the common question: you can make cookie dough. I mean, we're going to try, but it has to change. It just has to, and then that's a whole logistical thing. It has to be refrigerated, and how you're going to ship it, and so we're kind of waiting on retail relationships to evolve for that, because I'm not trying to ship anything with cold packs and charge them $20 to ship it over for 2 days. It'd be ridiculous. I mean, some people will pay for it, but at scale, I don't really think so. So yeah, we're going to definitely expand out of cookies for sure, but we want to kind of nail this thing down. We're still working operationally with our production team to kind of refine the flow of that and get that system moving. We're going to, on our third PO here, probably the next few weeks, make sure Amazon's cranking and really get the 7-figure mark on the cookies first before we really start to see anything push.
Let's go. Yeah, let's go.
So exciting, Scott. I mean, I think the fact that you have been in this exact space, you take a bite and you think, light bulb goes off. Got a tiger by the tail here. I need to cinch this thing up, and I need to get on this rocket and propel this thing to the moon. Man, that's so exciting, and it says a lot to me that you took the bite and you took the plunge to go all in. So I love it, man. I think the Austin airport needs to send in another PO, and then DFW and San Antonio and Houston.
Let's go.
And we just keep expanding from there, my friend. Man, we appreciate you coming on the show, and we look forward to what's coming next.
Yeah. Thank you guys. It means a lot. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate it.